It's January 8th, 2026. It's 7:45 in the morning, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, and I'm going for a walk. It's nice to see the sun. It seems like it's been a while. Mitten. I don't really know where I'm going today. I'm just walking and going the opposite direction of any people I see. It's a little sketchy on the bike path as far as ice goes this morning. It's right on the edge of freezing. This ice you can see, but there's a lot of invisible ice. Look how beautiful snow can be. Stop and shop. Glove. Bridges freeze first. Look, it's the moon. I remember something I learned in school. I was in an art class and I was drawing a landscape, and I had trees and then hills and then mountains, and I was shading in the mountains, and the teacher said, actually, the things in the distance should be lighter and the things closer up should be darker. I was doing it backwards. Here's a good example of it. .36. There's a hawk around here somewhere. I just heard it. It's me. Speaking of school, I know I'm not alone in having that dream where you come back from vacation to school and you can't remember the combination to your locker. You've had that, right? I think the new version is coming back after vacation to work and not remembering the password to your computer. Walking past the old train station. Now it's a restaurant. This right here, see up top it says 1892 Hotel. This is called the Baystate Hotel. When I first moved to Northampton, Massachusetts, this was the center of the independent music scene in the area. That bottom floor right there was the bar called the Baystate, and in the back room they had shows. There wasn't a stage or anything. It was just a carpeted room with crazy old wallpaper, and during the day it was the dining room of a restaurant, although hardly anybody ever ate there. And in the evenings there was music. I can't take any kind of credit for starting that music scene because it was already flourishing for years before I showed up in the mid-90s. On Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays, we'd go into the back room, the dining room, after the diners had left. I called the diners their pork chops. After that had cleared out, we'd go in, get the old PA system out of the back closet, set it up in a corner, moved tables and chairs, put red cloth napkins over all the lamps on the walls, and we had a little music venue. And I played so many shows there over the years, and I saw so many shows. Eventually I became a sound person there, so I did the sound for a bunch of shows. On Sundays and Tuesdays, there would be open mic nights. They'll be in the front room. Eventually, I became the host of the Tuesday night open mic nights. I did that every Tuesday for, I don't even know how long, a couple years, until the place closed down. And I learned a lot through that whole process of both rooms. Specifically, the open mic one, which, as the host of an open mic, besides setting up the sound and doing all that and scheduling everybody and calling everybody up, you also kick off the night. And that means that you're basically in a room, there's a bar, and there's people sitting around talking, having a good time, and you have to break up that situation and start getting attention onto the stage area, which was just a little corner in front of the jukebox and window. And that time, that moment of, it's still difficult today, but that moment of saying, okay, you guys are having a good time talking, but now I've got a microphone and I'm going to start singing. That's a tough gig. And I did it, like I said, for a long time, so I developed some kind of aptitude for doing that. Oh, look at this squirrel. It's an unusual position to be in. And when I started, I just got thrown into it. I mean, I had played a couple things on my own, and I had played in some bands, and I had played with friends as duos or whatever. But to just step up there by yourself and do that, it's pretty humbling to, because lots of times you end up playing a few songs to just everybody ignoring you. Well, that's not really true. After the Baystate closed, I moved on to continue doing the open mic and hosting shows and doing sound and stuff at another club called the 11s, which was just around the corner. It didn't have didn't quite have the hipness factor that the Baystate had, but I sure miss it now. It's good to have anyway, another thing you develop doing that job is a pretty uncomfortable one, where since you're the host, you need to keep things on track. You need to tell people no when the sign up is full, even if they're your friends. And you also have to sometimes get people off the stage if they're going too long, or they're not following the 15-minute, I forget what it was. I think it was 15 minutes or 3 songs or something like that. Sometimes you'd have to knock someone off stage, even though they were really great and they had a lot of friends there cheering them on, and bring someone on who maybe wasn't as good and didn't have as many people there cheering them on. Because, it's an open mic, it's open. You also have to end the night when maybe people don't want you to. So sometimes you got to be like the bad guy. And it's an interesting thing to learn to do. I suppose it's something that teachers probably learn.
Ah, nice try.
One of the great things about those open mics is that this area had a whole lot of songwriters in it. So almost all of the music at the open mics was original music. And a lot of the songs you'd have, I had these friends that were doing this, constantly making music, and they would come in and they would be trying out their new songs. They would be molding them through week after week, maybe changing them a little bit here and there, and you get to know the songs, and eventually they would form bands and they would record those songs, and a lot of them I still listen to them regularly today. They became like just as much a part of my life as super famous songs that everybody knows. Regionally famous songs, I guess. Regionally, maybe even smaller than regionally. Town-wide. A little bit more than town, I don't know. Songs by like the Figments and Claudia Malibu and Winter Pills and Lo-Fi and Lonesome Brothers and Ray Mason. And you wouldn't just be watching the songs develop, but you'd be doing the same things with your own songs and learning from each other. Learning little tricks, getting inspired. And people learning from each other and being inspired by each other in these situations even leads to a sort of sound that is hard to describe, but it has a local, it's like a local accent music-wise. It's like in Seattle how all those bands were playing all the time and then they became huge, and then suddenly everything on the radio was being sung with monster voice. Dangerous Ice. Newspaper. Sun shining through a fence. Sun through another fence. Sorry, I know this walk has been a lot of my dumb face as I've been reminiscing and pontificating about the formative years of my musical performing lifetime. It was all because the sun, the new, unfamiliar sun, was shining so nicely on the Baystate Hotel. Okay, thanks.